Hello guys, today I like to show you Ambient protocol, which is mainly deployed on Scroll, like this headline says, but it's also available on Ethereum, Blast and Canto. This is the landing page, Ambient.finance. We see top pools in here, so they are focused on stablecoins and ETH related assets and also Bitcoin. I can see more in here. Yeah, that's quick overview of all available pools. If we scroll down, there is another headline. They call themselves 0 to 1 decentralized trading platform. Faster, easier and cheaper. Okay, so this is a DEX, decentralized exchange. And if we scroll even more down, we see another headlines, better than sex, of course, investors, there is Circle, one big name, and there are some useful links to documentation, to GitHub repositories, and to Twitter, actually X platform, Discord and blog. However, before we go to the app, let's have a look on DeFi Llama. And we see the Ambient protocol raised to $87 million in TVL since, let's say, March this year, 2024. If we go to TVL tab, we can see that they're available on 4 chains. They gained TVL mainly on Scroll. It's 64 million, the second is Blast, 22 million, and only 5 on Ethereum. So when we switch off Blast, Ethereum and Canto, we see that's pretty much covers this chart. So I think we can consider Ambient as Scroll chain protocol. They should be focused definitely on Scroll chain users right now because they have most of their TVL on Scroll. Let's go to the documentation. Ambient, formerly called CrocSwap, is decentralized exchange DEX protocol. They run the entire DEX inside a single smart contract. So that's interesting, and that design decision makes Ambient the most efficient Ethereum-based DEX in existence. That's cool. And another fact, Ambient is developed from scratch, despite the fact that there combines concentrated liquidity, which is invention of Uniswap v3 actually. And they combined that with Ambient solution. That's why probably why they are called Ambient. So from my perspective, there are concentrated liquidity protocol. We see that later on when we go to the app. So my first thought was they forked Uniswap v3, but they didn't. And the third one approach they combine is knockout liquidity. And to be honest, I'm not so much into Ambient and knockout liquidity terms. I'm rather focused on concentrated liquidity as Uniswap v3. And personally, for me, that's the most interesting part in here. And that was the quick look at the documentation. I'm not gonna read that all. That's some really interesting tech details, but we just want to jump into the front end. Let's click trade now, and we see that's the front end of Ambient Finance. So we are immediately redirected to trade view. We see there is a trade tab in here, and they picked some default assets for me. There is the pair ETH USDC, so that's probably the most liquid pair and the first choice and the most common choice if someone looks into trading on DeFi. That's a typical view for traders. Traders rather expect to have main focus on the chart and have some inputs on the right hand side. We get also price, 24 hours change, volume, TVLs. So all the basic information are prominent, are exposed in the user interface. The chart is candles, so that makes the chart even more traders friendly. And we also got some basic tool for technical analysis. And at the bottom we see some recent trades. In centralized exchange, everything is hidden. You see only your swaps, your positions, but as blockchain is publicly available, as blockchain is a registry which is transparent for everyone, we can see, we can look up at any transaction. So I always look for that kind of features, that I can look up at any transaction, because it's available anyway. I can dig down into blockchain events, blockchain transaction, and I'm able to gather that information anyway. So that's pretty cool from them that they already show that for me. What about transactions? We get swaps, we get limit orders, and we can provide liquidity to the pool. Let's check out swaps on Ambient Finance. I have my wallet already connected to the Scroll network, and I want to swap ETH to get $50. That controls are very responsive. I get the quote very fast, and I see how much I have to pay for gas, and I can also look up what's the current ETH price. Okay, let's confirm, let's make the swap. Okay, that's pretty nice output. I see the slippage is 1%. I can skip that in for further transactions. Yeah, let's submit. And transaction submitted. Swap is already executed, so I got another 50 USDC into my wallet. If I click here to show my transactions, then I get one limit order, I provide liquidity, and I see two swaps. First one almost $10 and now $50. And I can also look up my transactions on the chart represented by those circles. When I hover, I see what's the amount. I get the link to Etherscan, and the size of the circle also reflects the amount of the transaction. That's pretty cool. Okay, I think we're done with swaps. So let's go to providing liquidity to the pool. So in terms of providing liquidity, Ambient Finance uses the concept of concentrated liquidity. And what does it mean? Every time you want to provide some tokens to liquidity pool to earn interest of that, of course, you have to set up the amount, let's say $50 on one leg and $50 equivalent on the second leg. Yeah, but that's only amounts. You also have to set up the price range, and this price range is showed on the chart as those two dashed lines. When I provide liquidity, my position is earning fees as long as the actual price of the asset is in that price range. What happens when the price moves up or down outside that range? Then I stop earning fees, my position stops earning fees, and also whole liquidity is converted to the one token. If you need more, go to Ambient Finance documentation. There is a section called Concentrated Liquidity, and they explain how it works in the details. How is that approach efficient for the capital you provided liquidity, especially for the stable coins when the price range is 99% of time in this range, and also what are downsides for the liquidity providers. Let's go back to the UI, and we see there is a slider, and that slider defines how wide is our price range we want to provide liquidity for. And this chart on the right hand side of the price chart shows us how much liquidity is for certain price. And you know, low liquidity, higher price impact. Providing liquidity for that huge price range is it doesn't work for me. I think we should set up as 10%. We have predefined values in here as buttons. Let's say 5% or 7. Okay. And I see there is also ambient. What ambient means? What does it mean? It means that you provide liquidity to the whole price range. If you like so, just you can do it with this interface. And do you remember we already mentioned ambient liquidity reading the docs, and so that's the second type of liquidity you can provide to the pool in Ambient Finance. I think there is a time for providing liquidity to execute the transaction, so let's approve USDC. You have to approve first, and then we can execute the actual transaction. We see that nice output. Current fee rate is 0.15%, slippage tolerance 3%, current price is this. I can click that and it's switched to ETH. Cool. So submit. And this process is called minting liquidity. If you go to docs, you can spot two terms: minting liquidity and burning liquidity. Minting liquidity is when you provide liquidity, and burning liquidity is when you withdraw your funds from the liquidity pool. And I realized I made a mistake. I provided liquidity as ambient. I don't want that. So there is a remove button here to burn my liquidity. That's about the amount. So I like to withdraw everything. Just removing that liquidity. I get back almost the same amount I provided, so that's okay. Do I have to pay some fees? Ambient position rewards are compounded back into the original position and are included in the amounts above. I can send to another wallet, right? And the slippage is 3%. Okay, let's execute that. Okay, it seems I got my tokens back, and now I can provide liquidity one more time, but not for ambient price range, the whole liquidity pool price range, but for 7% as I set up before. Okay, let's check one more time. Is everything okay? I can approve and execute. Yes, and nice. I see what's the actual price range in the summary. And here is in range indicator. And I see the minimum price and max price. Yeah, and that's nice. They explains what happens when the price goes above or below the price range. So your position will be 100% ETH at this price. So when the price moves to the minimum price range and below, your liquidity will be converted to Ether entirely. And the opposite side is max price, and when the price hits this price, your position will be 100% USDC. So you see that's the concentrated liquidity. And as traders, you can get advantage of that process. So you provide liquidity to the pool in a 50-50 balance, and you expect that the price will go to the up or down to a certain direction. And when token price hits your bonds, you expect your position to be converted to either ETH or USDC. So isn't that kind of swap? You swap 50% of your position to the one token, but only in a certain condition. So you set up your position for the future situation, possible future situations. Maybe you can expect both. Maybe that's your hedge. I don't know. But actually, I have one caveat. what when the price move outside the range and go back inside? Does my position remains 100% in one asset? No, because your liquidity pool position is always responsive to the current price of the tokens in the pool. So there is one missing feature we want to have here: to lock my position when the price hits bounce. And this is already fixed in limit orders. And limit order in here in Ambient Finance is about knockout liquidity. So here we are. Unlike a vanilla concentrated liquidity range order, even if the price rises back over the fill price, the tokens the user bought will not convert back. Instead, the user locks in the direction and price. So that's cool. How we can utilize actually providing liquidity to the pool, but to the really small range, but also not around the current price, but in some out of range, which is the missing feature also in here, I think, because we can provide liquidity only around the current price. So flat LP calls. We can mint concentrated liquidity like this, and I see there is BitTick and ASTIC. So actually, we don't have to provide liquidity only around current price and spread the range to our needs. We can provide liquidity to actually any range on the price chart. But that's the missing feature in this UI, probably for user convenience, for better UX. Users mostly want to provide liquidity around the current price. And also, I think that's easier for developers to build the interface for that feature. And it's less confusing for the user, and also less confusing for the developer to build the interface. So that's the reason I like Ambient Finance, because when you go to Uniswap V3 and you want to provide liquidity, the user experience is horrible. Interface is, let's say, more flexible, because you can provide liquidity at any range, so it's more sophisticated, but it's much more confusing. So you can go to Uniswap V3 and you can check it out on your own. For now, that's enough. We can go to limit orders. We can set up some limit order. Let's try it. The price, that's the current price, I think. So let's move it. Does it work when I click? Oh, it works when I click on the chart. So I want to, when the price hits this price, or maybe a little bit lower on here, when the price goes here and hits that bound, that limit, so let's say I want to swap ETH to, let's say, $20 USDC. So my position, I actually provide liquidity like this. I provide liquidity only in Ether for a tiny price range, which is defined here, but it's actually it's reflected here. It's drawn here as the just single line. And when the price goes up and hit that bound, then my liquidity, as you know, of the concept for concentrated liquidity, my liquidity will be converted entirely to USDC. It's 20 USDC, and my position is locked when, for the situation, let's say when the price move down again, my position is locked, but I have to go here to Ambient Finance and claim my tokens. So that's the disclaimer here, it's not automatically transferred to your wallet. You have to claim it, because that's the limitation of the blockchain in current form. Let's execute this. Confirm, and we see explanation. A button to claim USDC will appear in your limits tab once filled. Yeah, exactly. Ether can be withdrawn at any time before fill completion. Yeah, that's right. So let's submit that order. Transaction submitted. Okay, we see my order as limit in here. I had one before and it's claimable. Stop 100% filled. What does it mean? Yes, it means it hits. There was some spike and my order hit that that spike. It caught it. Yeah, there was a spike in here, and I think this chart is drawn for the purpose of my position, because I don't see any spikes in here and here. Okay, so I caught the spike with my position. Yeah, but it will feel anyway in the future, because we are below that price now. Okay, but that's cool. So let's claim it. How to claim it? Yeah, here is a button to claim, so I can claim my tokens. Okay, it's about 10 USDC. Claim limit order. Yeah, I like it. We tested out everything. I think we cover so much. Maybe I missed something. Let me know in the comments if you like it. If you want me to test it more, or explore the documentation. Maybe you are dev and you want to know how to build interface on that. Let me know in the comments. And also remember to like this video if you like it, of course, and remember to subscribe, and of course hit the bell icon to not miss any video in the future. See you!